Elara entered Junie's apartment, her demeanor a stark contrast to the usually relaxed atmosphere. Junie's place was lit by the soft glow of her IBM PS2 Model 50. Logged into the college's BBS, Ethan and Reggie were deeply immersed in Double Dragon on the NES, battling side by side against waves of enemies. "I just needed to talk," Elara said, sinking into the couch. "Tonight was strange. Dick called me Relera, like he almost said Riley's name. When I asked him about it, he got defensive. Things got awkward when I wasn't in the mood for, well, it was a mess." Junie, observing quietly, spoke up. "You should take the name incident seriously. Dick's probably fucking Riley." Elara looked taken aback. "What? No, you're my best friend, Junie, but she's my friend too since grade school. You know, maybe you're just jealous of Dick or Riley. I don't know, I think you might need to get to know them both better." The room fell into an awkward silence. Elara and Junie exchanged a brief, uncomfortable look. The tension was palpable. Elara, sensing the need to move past it, apologized. "Sorry, Juniper, I didn't mean to jump down your throat." Junie nodded, her expression softening. "I shouldn't have made such claims without proof. Let's just forget about it." They hugged, mending their friendship. Elara then tried to smooth things over. "So how has your evening been so far?" Reggie and Ethan, deeply immersed in Double Dragon, turned their attention to Elara. Reggie, sensing the change in mood, answered, "It was interesting. Zeb Tucker came in ranting about something." Ethan added, "He yelled about some Shadowman. It was unsettling. He said the Shadowman is coming for us all. Officer Harris took him away." Elara looked intrigued. "Shadowman? Oh, Kira the Dupta." Junie's eyes widened. "Yeah, I knew it sounded familiar. You just learned about him in class." Elara and Junie summarized the story for Ethan and Reggie. They explained how Kieran was a druidic priest from Celtic Ireland. As Ireland became more Christian, he was persecuted and fled to the New World as a stowaway. Captured upon arrival, he was imprisoned, mistreated, escaped, lived in caves under the grove, and was recaptured and burned at the stake. Before his death, he cursed the land and vowed revenge. Elara continued. "Since then, terrible events follow storms around, so and over time these became urban legends tied to the Shadowman. The legends grew intense over the years, including disappearances, deaths, and phenomena all linked to the ominous figure. With Halloween just days away, and the previous night's hurricane, the connection is kind of unsettling," Juniper added. Ethan's discomfort grew. "Sounds kind of satanic." Reggie and Ethan exchanged glances, while Elara and Junie looked on with concern. The conversation fell into a silence, the weight of the legends and recent events hanging heavily in the air.
Elara glanced around the room, trying to ease the lingering tension. "You know, Juniper," she began, forcing a smile, "I really wish you could get along better with Dick and Riley. They're important to me, and I'd love for my best friend to get along with them too." Junie smirked awkwardly. "Funny you should say that," she replied. As the bathroom door creaked open, Riley sauntered out with a confident, sultry stride, her outfit hugging her curves and accentuating her every move. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders, and she gave a flirtatious wink as she made her entrance. "Oh hey, Elara," she greeted with a dazzling smile, her voice dripping with charm. Riley made her way over to the group, casually leaning against the back of the couch next to Elara. She let her hand graze Elara's shoulder, her touch lingering just a little too long. "So what's everyone up to tonight?" she asked, her voice carrying an undertone of flirtation. She playfully bumped into Reggie as she moved through the room, her hand lingering on his arm. Hey Reggie, I meant to tell you earlier that you're looking good tonight. Got any plans for Halloween? Her eyes sparkled with a teasing glint. Reggie's face turned a deep shade of red as he stammered, pulling down his shirt to cover his growing embarrassment. Ethan, seated nearby, tried to avoid eye contact as Riley made her way over. She placed a hand on his knee, her touch lingering as she leaned in close. And what about you, Ethan? Any big plans for the big night? I'm sure you're just brimming with excitement. Ethan shifted uncomfortably, his cheeks flushing with a mix of embarrassment and discomfort. He mumbled a vague response about his Batman costume for Dick's party, clearly trying to ignore the situation. Riley turned her attention back to Alara, leaning in and letting her fingertips graze Alara's arm. So what brings you over here so early, Alara? Not that I'm complaining, I'm always happy to see you. Alara smiled, trying to keep the conversation light. Oh, I just needed to talk to Junie about some stuff. Tonight got a bit strange with Dick, so I thought I'd come over and hang out. Riley's eyes widened with sudden realization, and she straightened up abruptly. Oh right, I just remember I have a thing I need to do. You know how it is, last minute stuff at the burger barn. An assistant manager's job never ends. Anyway, it was great seeing you, Alara. She flashed a quick practice smile and began to head towards the door. As Riley exited, the abruptness of her departure and her rushed excuse left everyone feeling uneasy. Junie exchanged a knowing glance with Ethan and Reggie. Their suspicions about Riley's timing and her interest in Alara's evening with Dick now further fueled. Alara, however, remained blissfully unaware of the underlying tension, her attention still focused on the evening's earlier events.
Riley's sudden exit refreshed her mind, took a deep breath to break the tension. You know, it's funny, Riley was definitely something tonight. She was flirting with everyone, practically the entire room. She chuckled, trying to lighten the mood. Junie rolled her eyes, though a smirk tugged at the corner of her mouth. Yeah, she really was. It was pretty over the top. She even managed to flirt with all of us. Talk about a hit and run. Reggie laughed awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. She even hit on me. I guess I should feel flattered, right? Alara and the others quickly reassured her. Hey Reggie, don't sell yourself short. Alara said earnestly, you're a great guy and definitely a catch. Riley's just, well, she's a lock. You've got nothing to worry about. Junie nodded in agreement. Seriously, Reggie, Riley's just a bit over the top. Anyone would be lucky to be around you. She clearly didn't know what she was missing. Ethan shifted uncomfortably, still processing the encounter. I don't know about flattered, more like unnerved. I thought she was going to flirt with the lampshade next. Alara, trying to keep the mood light, said playfully, you know, Junie, maybe that would be a good way for you two to get to know each other better, if you know what I mean. Junie's expression was a mix of amusement and mock disgust. She rolled her eyes and made a gagging sound, pointing her finger down her throat. Well, as if I'd rather not. Besides, I don't think Riley's my type. The group laughed and the atmosphere eased. They began discussing what to do for the rest of the evening. Reggie's face lit up with an idea. He perked up and grabbed his book bag. I got this, he announced, pulling out a rented copy of Edge of Sanity. It's an adaptation of Lovecraft. I thought it would be a fun watch. The girls perked up at the mention of the movie. That sounds intriguing, Alara said with genuine interest. I've heard mixed things about it, but I'm up for it. Ethan, however, looked uneasy. It's not going to be another abomination like Shocker, is it? Reggie laughed, shaking his head. Nah, it won't be super violent or gory, just a good atmospheric horror. Trust me, it'll be worth watching. As they settled into the evening, the movie provided a mix of enjoyment and critique. They found themselves captivated by Anthony Perkins' performance, though they couldn't help but notice he looked noticeably sick and unwell. As the credits rolled, they all agreed to crash at Junie's place for the night. The group settled into the comfort of their friendship, enjoying the warmth and camaraderie of their shared experiences. They ended the evening with a sense of contentment and a touch of excitement for the Halloween festivities just around the corner. As night deepened, each felt an unsettling chill, as if being watched, unaware others felt the same. Shadows moved, creaks grew louder, doubt lingered. thanked her. As night deepened, each felt an unsettling chill as if being watched, unaware others felt the same. Shadows moved, creaks grew louder, doubt lingered.
Laura woke up to the soft hum of a computer and the enticing smell of bacon wafting from the kitchen. She stretched and glanced around the room. Nothing. Junie, already awake and seated at her desk. The bulky CRT monitor of Junie's IBM PS2 Model 50 glowed with EGA graphics displaying the college's BBS version, still asleep on the floor, wrapped in a cocoon of blankets. Junie noticed Alara stirring and turned to her with a smile. "Morning, Elle, you'll never guess what," she said, leaning aside to reveal the text on the monitor. "School's still closed today, and tomorrow too. Most of the staff can't get here because the bridge and ferries are still down." Alara's eyes widened. "Wow, really? That's great, I guess." She tried to muster enthusiasm, but a mix of relief and disappointment flickered across her face. "I mean, I could use the extra sleep, but we're missing so much work." Junie laughed softly. "Yeah, I get it, but hey, at least we get to chill for another day. And, you know, bacon." She nodded towards the kitchen with a grin. Alara chuckled. "True, I can't argue with bacon." A few minutes later, Ethan emerged from the kitchen, wiping his hands on a towel. "Breakfast is ready," he announced with a warm smile. While they were talking, Reggie began to toss and turn on the floor, clearly caught in the throes of a bad dream. His movements became more agitated, and just as Ethan was finishing his announcement, Reggie bolted upright, yelling, "The shadow! The shadow!" They all jumped, a bit freaked out at first, but seeing Reggie's bewildered expression, they quick transitioned to laughing and good-natured teasing. "Geez, Reg," Junie said with a grin, "you really had us going there for a second." Reggie rubbed his eyes and sighed, a bit embarrassed. "Yeah, sorry about that, just a bad dream." "Come on, let's eat," Alara said, helping Reggie up. Ethan made a feast. They all sat down and enjoyed the oversized breakfast Ethan had prepared: bacon, 2 types of eggs, hash browns, pancakes, and toast. As they dug in, they began discussing their plans for the day. "So what's everyone up to?" Junie asked between bites of pancake. "I have a shift at the diner," Alara said, "but I'll be free after." Reggie perked up. "I promised Ethan I'd go see Batman with him again to make up for the whole shocker incident yesterday." Ethan nodded. "Yeah, I need a palate cleanser after that disaster." Junie shrugged. "I have no plans. I guess I'll tag along to the movies with you guys." Alara smiled. "Sounds like a plan. And after my shift, we can all catch up and work on our costumes for the Halloween party." They all agreed, enjoying the easy camaraderie and looking forward to spending the day together. Junie laughed softly. "Yeah, I get it, but hey, at least we get to chill for another day. And you know, bacon." She nodded towards the kitchen with a grin. Alara chuckled. "True, I can't argue with bacon." A few minutes later, Ethan emerged from the kitchen, wiping his hands on a towel. "Breakfast is ready," he announced with a warm smile. While they were talking, Reggie began to toss and turn on the floor, clearly caught in the throes of a bad dream. His movements became more agitated. Just as Ethan was finishing his announcement, Reggie bolted upright, yelling, "The shadow! The shadow!" They all jumped, a bit freaked out at first, but after breakfast, Alara left for her shift at the diner, while Junie dove into her current digital obsession. The CRT monitor cast a glow across her face as she typed C. Origin, Ultima, XZ with practiced ease, plunging into the expansive fantasy world of Ultima V. Meanwhile, Ethan and Reggie engaged in mayhem on the S, battling their way through Double Dragon.
When the time came, the trio headed up the street to the small-town theater, a place that held nostalgic charm with its faded marquee and modest screens. Later, as they exited the theater, Ethan's eyes were alight with enthusiasm. "That never gets old," he proclaimed, as if the mere act of watching it was sacred. Reggie, while fond of the film, admitted, "I love it, but seeing it so much has gotten monotonous." Junie, having just seen it for a second time, added, "It's fun, but Batman killing feels like a misstep." Ethan nodded in agreement. The only bad decision, Burton nailed everything else. He then added, "It's coming out on VHS in a couple of weeks, but I'll wait for the laser disc in January. I'll rent it a lot in the meantime." They crossed the street to the diner, only to stumble upon a heated argument between Alara and Dick. Tom, the pragmatic owner, intervened, kicking Dick out, his exit as showy as it was noisy. Gathering around Alara, the friends offered their support. "Dick's been impossible lately," she confessed. "I don't know what's going on with him." Tom, seizing on the opportunity, offered, "The back room's a mess. If you clean it up, I'll give you all a free lunch." Eager for a free meal, the friends set to work with determination. The task was completed with a sense of camaraderie. Once the room was in order, they gathered at the counter for their well-earned lunch, and the conversation naturally turned to their Halloween costume plans. Junie grinned, ongoing as Gozer. Ethan's eyes sparkled with approval. "Of course you are, that's perfect for you." Alara smiled, her gaze reflecting her enthusiasm. "I'm going as Laurie Strode." Reggie's eyes lit up. "Ooh, slashing." Reggie then declared, "I'll be Jason Voorhees." Junie teased him with a grin. "Too easy, Reggie, but it fits." Ethan with a smirk added, "And I'm going as Batman." Junie smirked, her voice dripping with playful sarcasm. "You don't say? I never would have guessed." Ethan shrugged, "Can't resist a classic." As they discussed their costumes, they considered the challenges of sourcing their outfits on their isolated island. The hardware store, corner store, and drugstore would be their primary sources, but Joni's fabrics and crafts would also prove crucial amidst their banter. There was a palpable sense of anticipation for Halloween, and the rest of their day was filled with laughter, friendship, and the comforting knowledge that they could always count on each other.
Back at Juniper's apartment, the kitchen table was transformed into a chaotic workshop of creativity. The group had gathered, each with their costume components spread out like a treasure trove of Halloween magic. Junie was meticulously assembling her Gozer the Gazarian outfit, her hands deftly working with spandex, shiny fabric, and paint. Reggie, holding his work overalls from the hardware store, focused on his makeshift Jason Voorhees mask. Unable to find the iconic hockey mask, he embraced Alara's suggestion to go as Jason from Part 2. With a pillow from the fabric store and a single eye hole expertly cut, Reggie worked with renewed enthusiasm. The doorbell rang, slicing through the hum of focused work. Dick barged in, carried a pizza box and a bouquet of flowers, a smirk playing on his lips. "Sorry about earlier," he said, thrusting the flowers toward Alara in a gesture of exaggerated apology. Riley trailed behind, dressed as Slutty Smurfette in blue body paint, a tight white latex miniskirt, a crop top, and a white winter hat. The contrast between her outfit and the group's more earnest costumes was stark. Riley rolled her eyes at the scene, her disdain evident but not noticeable to Alara. Junie, Reggie, and Ethan exchanged glances of disapproval, their irritation barely concealed. "Thought I'd bring some pizza," Dick said, trying to salvage the mood. "We can all hang out and work on our costumes together." Ethan eyed Dick's lackluster Batman costume with annoyance. "Another Batman? Really?" Dick shrugged nonchalantly. "Hey, we can just be the dynamic duo." Ethan's frustration flared. "That's not how the dynamic duo works. It's not just about having two Batmans." Alara, aiming to keep the peace, nudged Dick gently. "Why don't you go as the Joker instead? It might be a better fit." Reluctantly, Dick agreed to the change, giving Ethan's Batman a chance to shine. As the group adjusted to the new dynamic, they returned to their costume work. The room buzzing with the sounds of laughter, occasional disputes over costume details, and the collective excitement for Halloween night. Juniper's apartment brimmed with enthusiasm and mounting exasperation. Dick had ventured out with Riley to find a purple suit and some face paint for his Joker costume. Their return, however, was met with eye rolls. Riley's body paint was smeared and her outfit disheveled, while Dick had patches of blue paint on his clothing and skin, evidence of their activities. Juniper, Ethan, and Reggie exchanged glances. The trio was particularly irked by Alara's obliviousness to the obviousness of Dick and Riley. To everyone except Alara, it was clear that Dick and Riley were hooking up. Riley clung to Dick, her demeanor one of an eager puppy, but Alara remained cheerfully unaware. Seriously, Ethan muttered, I can't believe she's okay with this. Juniper shot him a look. It's not our place to make judgments, Ethan. But it's hard to ignore when Riley is practically glued to Dick. Ethan began to protest, quoting scripture about moral integrity, but Junie's stare silenced him. Reggie gave Ethan a gentle nudge to emphasize the need to let it go. Ethan begrudgingly fell silent. Ilara's excitement was infectious. Let's model, she announced, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. One by one they finalized their looks. Riley made some touch-ups to her blue body paint and revealed a bit more cleavage for effect. Juniper, Ethan, and Reggie, having already completed their transformations, eagerly awaited their turn. First out was Reggie, donning his Part 2 Jason Voorhees outfit. His overalls were too big, but held together with pins. And the pillow mask with its lone eye hole was a delightful nod to the early days of the franchise. Reggie announced, striking a pose with his makeshift prop machete. The group erupted into cheers, their frustrations momentarily forgotten. Next was Judy, transforming into Gozer. Her bodysuit was shiny fabric, and the headpiece crafted from wire and PVC drew appreciative gasps. Are you gods? She asked with flourish. The friends went wild in appreciation of her elaborate costume. Ilara, with her Laurie Strode outfit, emerged next. She had torn her clothes to perfection, and the fake blood added a touch of authenticity. I believe in the boogeyman, she declared. The room filled with cheers. Next up was Ethan, who stepped out in his Batman costume. But its heart and its bodysuit carefully padded for muscle definition, and the detailed cape and mask drew admiring looks. I'm Batman, Ethan growled, striking a superhero pose. The group went into a frenzy. The energy palpable Dick, with his mismatched purple suit and smeared face paint, joined in the fun. This town